Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. We have just finished our first technology session of the afternoon at Breakbulk Americas, and I have one of our panelists with me, Hans Bean, from the North Carolina Ports Authority. Welcome.
Thank you, Leslie.
It's great to have you here. And it's always great to have a real case study, to have real experience, particularly I think when it comes to technology. Breakbulk as an industry is not perhaps as technologically advanced as other industries. So I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah. I think we're learning as we do this. It's by no means a finished project. It's a work in progress. I think we were fortunate in a way that we were doing such an overhaul on our both our ports and all of our segments on containers, that it gave us an opportunity to say, can we do this differently?
Yes. Yes.
And can we use it also in a sense of unifying areas that maybe were siloed or just didn't speak a common language, so to speak.
All right, so tell me a little bit about, I know you're working with Verscient. What were you looking to them for? What were your problems or things you wanted to tackle, and how did their product play a role in helping you solve those issues?
Sure. We touched on it in the panel, but I think as a port, I would say we have a bit of an underdog spirit. We're not a huge port. We have two maritime gateways. We have an inland port and soon to be another inland port.
Oh wow!
But we have to optimize. So I think we've had a great performance culture and reputation of kind of get it done quickly and in a manner that feels good to the customer in a sense, or with the stakeholders involved, with our partners. But we're growing very fast. And I think as we're deploying a lot of capital to kind of, let's say, upgrade our infrastructure, upgrade our capabilities, I think you've heard many times, right, when places outgrow their historical scope, continuing to deliver performance at that level becomes compromised when they scale.
Right, exactly.
Our mantra, you could say from CEO on down, there's a lot of operations, a lot of ops DNA, even though I'm on the commercial side of the fence in our organization. But it was kind of a mandate. Our metrics will not suffer as we grow. And a couple years ago, we were fastest growing port in the United States. But actually, over the course of these couple of years, we're doing more business, but our metrics are actually getting better. And I think a big part of it is being able to see it.
Right.
Address areas that need focus or areas that can be optimized.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you give us an example of that?
Sure. It's interesting. I'll zoom in on an area really gate activity. It's a point in the terminal flow. Right? You're typically thinking dockside vessels, and you want to get productivity there. Ships make money when they're moving, not when they're alongside. But actually at the gate, it tends to be, I think, the focal point where there can either be a lot of pleasure or a lot of pain.
Okay.
And I say that because one, we want the value proposition. We want ultimately activity of whether it's imports or exports. We want to conclude those transactions in a predictable way, but also in an expeditious way. And I think, but that really comes down to closing out vessels or preparing for a vessel evolution and getting the yard set. But I think at the gate, if truckers are feeling pain, everyone up and down the food chain hears about it. And so we spend really a disproportionate amount of time, or we think it's the right amount of time. We engage that community a lot, and I think we've been able to look at our turn times, but then look at all the different parts of flow that maybe are outside of the gate or within the terminal, and isolate those and say, okay, is this transaction being executed in the way it should be? Is everything populated in advance? Are you avoiding trouble tickets, trouble lanes? Some of the typical things we hear in a port and a terminal. A lot of this now, where we're headed to a place where trucks, if everything's populated, and pre-advices are set, the flow is a lot more seamless, and I would say. So I think that's an area with Verscience now, with a new operating system with Navis, with our terminal operating system. I think now we can bring these views together, and Dean mentioned it, and really we'll spend time, create a dashboard that can isolate a specific customer, can isolate their truckers, isolate a commodity, a specific cargo program, and let us drill into it. And then once it's established, once that dashboard is built, you can refresh it, as often as you want during the day, weekly frequency, whatever you want to do. So I think that's an example where, our turn times are some of the best in the country.
Fantastic.
But we're able to kind of take it to the next level by looking at the data.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now you said that North Carolina ports are one of the fastest growing. Tell us about your plans. What's going on there?
Well, as I mentioned, 2 ports, Wilmington and Morehead City.
Yes.
Inland Port in Charlotte. Actually, that's been activated the last few years with an intermodal connectivity and a next day train that we run from Wilmington. Later this month, or actually next month, it's in October, there's another, you could say, it's an intermodal hub. CSX is opening in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, the Carolina Connector, the CCX. And so, ultimately, that's going to take us into our next, really kind of a next leap of broader intermodal connectivity. But with the growth, actually, if I step back a little bit, North Carolina's 9th, probably almost soon to be 8th most populous state in the U.S. Very fast-growing demographic and a very diverse industry set. And the truth is, it's a very underserved market. Historically, because the ports didn't have maybe sufficient connectivity globally, the number of services calling, whether it's bulk, break bulk, or container, it was an underserved market. And a lot of the supply chains in North Carolina, going back 30, 40 years ago, they found other ways to execute their supply chains. So now, the state, about 4 or 5 years ago, really made some conscious decisions to say, let's invest in our ports, let's upgrade. And I think with that, we're now able to serve this market where in some ways we might only serve 10, 15% of what is really our home addressable market. So there's that other 80% of business in the North Carolina regional market we should be handling. There's better cost, better speed, better visibility for the businesses, the customers, if you will. So I think that's a big part of the growth, is the toolkit now is sufficient to do so much more. And I think the kind of omni-channel capability we have, 2 ports that can service a variety of business, and even now we're seeing customers that are using both. Some customers are using, both segments. They do break bulk, they do containers, and I think to be able to talk a little more holistically to supply chain, and also now with all the congestion, and certain ports are just not catering to break bulk, or if they're catering, there's a lot of congestion, a lot of delay. So I think that's a big thing we're capitalizing on. 1, the market that we should be serving, there's a lot more we can do. And 2, a lot of legacy gateways are challenged right now, and people need new options.
Right, and it sounds like you are well positioned to take advantage of that.
Well,
leverage it. Let's put it that way.
Let's hope so. More to do. Like I say, work in progress. But we've completed a great deal in the last 2 or 3 years. I think even over the last 2 months, we're continuing kind of the next phases of our rollout with some of our operating systems. But I think where we're going to go with the technology and with the data, even we have a community access portal, a CAP. That's kind of our next step of this data piece. How do we even get the market, get our customers engaging through the portal so that we can share that common visibility, and I think make it more predictive from, whether it's from the sea buoy, to the distribution center, or vice versa, from production until things have departed the port.
That is fantastic. Well, it sounds like you are going to have a busy and productive year ahead, and I will look forward to catching up with you at Breakbulk Americas next year.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we're really appreciative of you all. Keeping the market going. It's been a great venue to kind of reconnect. It is Breakbulk in some ways. It's a lot of global partners, being able to invest time with them. It's just positive to be able to do this again.
Well, we're so happy that you're here.
Very good.
All right. Thanks
you.
so much.